And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 video games for the PS2. Actually, a couple of months ago I did my top 10 of PS1 games, so I will leave a link of that video in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. I must say that I love the PS2. In fact, I think that the PS2 is one of the best video game systems of all time. It is in fact the best-selling home console of all time. The PlayStation 2 sold more than 155 million units worldwide. And the legacy that we have of that system is a huge and amazing library of video games. So let's take a closer look of my personal favorite top 10 video games for the PS2 right after this. Okay, so I'm going to start with a launch title, and that game is Tekken Tag Tournament. Now, I'm a huge fan of Tekken. I mean, Tekken is really my jam when it comes to fighting games. I love the original 3, and I love tag team fighting games, you know, games like the King of Fighters on the Yugioh. And the tag team element on this game is superb, really. And the story behind it, I mean, this is kind of... I'm not going to say a follow-up, but, you know, the events of this game occurred during the Tekken 3. And if you guys see, like, you know, the endings, the cinematics, it leaves us with a question mark on the story, and I absolutely love that. So Tekken Tag Tournament, one of my favorites on the PS2. Now, speaking about fighting games, this is not a fighting game, this is actually a beat-em-up game of one of the most amazing fighting series of all time. I'm talking about Mortal Kombat, and this game is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. If you guys out there like the Mortal Kombat universe, you definitely need to play this one. So you get to choose between Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and although it is a beat-em-up game, you'll see a lot of elements from the classic Mortal Kombat games. In terms of story, it is amazing because this is actually during the events of the first two Mortal Kombat games. Lots of secrets and hidden content to discover on this one, and it's actually an amazing game to play in co-op. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, I totally recommend this game for you guys. Now, this next one is the first game of an amazing trilogy on the PS2. That game is Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. I love the whole trilogy, I'm a huge fan of Prince of Persia, and the Sands of Time is an amazing game to play. You have a couple of elements from the classic Prince of Persia games, but of course at the time with superb graphics and gameplay. If you like adventure games, if you like puzzle games, if you like Prince of Persia, I definitely recommend this trilogy for you guys, so the Sands of Time, one of my favorites on the PS2. Now this next one. I absolutely love this game. Legacy of Kain Defiance. I'm a huge fan of Blood Omen and Soul Reaver, so when I heard about a game that was going to mix Kain and Raziel, I was just amazed by it. For you guys that don't know, Soul Reaver and Blood Omen are actually part of the same universe. And even if you guys don't like the series, I mean, if you like vampire games, this is an amazing game to play. It definitely has that dark environment that you're looking for in a vampire game. Of course, that you get to play as both Raziel and Kain. And the cool thing is that, although they are related, they are very two distinguished characters. And not just the way you play the game, actually, you know, their personality and the story of it. And you have classic characters from the series as well, I mean like Vorador and Janos. So this one is definitely one of my all-time favorite PS2 games. Now this game is a little bit different from these ones. I'm going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses. Now, I'm not a huge fan of card games. I did play a little bit of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! But when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm actually a big fan of the anime series. And this game totally blew my mind away when I first played it. I mean, the story is not very important in this game. In fact, it has nothing to do with the original anime. But you do have, you know, the classic characters. You get to play as both Kain and Yugi. And pretty much all of the classic monsters of the original anime are on this game. Very interesting mechanics. A little bit mixed with, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Meets chess, if you will. Very fun game to play, not very challenging, but if you're a fan of card games and if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely check it out, The Duelists of the Roses on the PS2. Now, this next one is probably a hidden gem on the PS2. I'm a huge fan of dungeon crawler RPGs, I'm a huge fan of Forgotten Realms, you know, the universe of D&D, so may I present to you Champions of Noreth. So if you guys have played games like, you know, Diablo and Dungeon Siege, you guys will be right at home with this one. You have an insane, massive amount of gear and skills to use, magic spells, abilities, and it was actually one of the first games that I've played online. I've played this game so much in co-op with a friend, and so many good memories with this game. And this game actually got a sequel, but unfortunately I never played it. But Champions of North is a total hidden gem on the PS2. Speaking of RPGs, of course there's a Final Fantasy game on this list. Of course that we had Final Fantasy 12, which unfortunately I don't like it very much. Then we have Final Fantasy 10 and Final Fantasy 10-2. But then again, Final Fantasy 10-2, well, that's a game that never existed. We don't talk about that game on this channel. But I'm really a fan of Final Fantasy 10. I love the new mechanics of this game. I love the story of this game. And this is a huge fail of mine, but I've actually skipped Final Fantasy 9. So to me this was impressive because I jumped from Final Fantasy 8 on the PS1 to Final Fantasy 10 on the PS2. So this of course blew my mind away. I mean, amazing graphics at the time. And for Final Fantasy games, I mean, this game sets the opinions apart, I think. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this game, and I totally recommend it for you guys if you haven't played it yet. Now this next one, I want to know in the comment section below who remembers this game. Shadow of Rome. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite games on the PS2. I am a huge fan of Gladiator's theme, and we did had a couple of previous games regarding to Gladiators, but they were not very good games, to be honest with you. So if you like Gladiators, and if you own a PS2, definitely play Shadow of Rome. The story is amazing, the graphics were amazing at the time. The gameplay, well, it could be a little bit better, but it is not frustrating. It doesn't affect the fun of playing this game. Definitely a must-play on the PS2, Shadow of Rome. And what about GTA? This one was a tough one for me, because GTA 3 was actually the first GTA that I've ever played. Vice City, well, Vice City is a holy grail, but it's actually my favorite GTA when it comes to the story. And although it was a tough call, for me, GTA, it all comes down to the gameplay. GTA San Andreas. What can I say about this game that it hasn't been said before? This, for me, is the GTA to play on the PS2. Like I said, I prefer the story of Vice City, but I definitely prefer, the gameplay and the missions on this one. Very fun game, a game that never gets old for me. GTA San Andreas. Now down to the last one, and although these games were not in any particular order, but this one is actually my favorite PS2 game, and not only that, but it is truly my favorite video game of all time. A lot of people hate this game, a lot of people got really upset when it was released, but my all-time favorite video game on the PS2 is Kingdom Hearts. I want to tell you how I first heard about this game. So it was on the early 2000s, and we got a TV show here in Portugal that talked about video games. And I bet that a lot of you Portuguese fellas out there, you guys remember Templo dos Jogos. It was the name of the TV show, Temple of Games. And I could be wrong, but I think it was one of the very last episodes. And they've talked about, they announced Kingdom Hearts. And I was like, Square mixed with Disney, Mickey Mouse mixed with Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Well, that's not going to be good. But it was good. It turned out to be an amazing game. To me, this game is a masterpiece. But the importance of this game to me is not just the fact that I like the game as a whole. It is not just the fact that it combines two universes that I grew up with, but it is a very personal game to me. And I know that it sounds lame, but this game definitely helped me. I played this game at the right time. I was in a very dark period of my life, to be honest with you, personal problems. And to me, video games, it's not just about, not just a hobby, not just something that I spend time to have fun. It's actually an escape for me. And I got this game for Christmas when it was released, and it definitely helped me a lot during a very complicated year of my life. So of course, a personal favorite, a personal attachment with this game, of course, and my all-time favorite game, so Kingdom Hearts. There you go, guys, this was my top 10 video games for the PS2. This is actually a follow-up of my PS1 top 10 video games, so I will leave a link of that video on the description box below. And I also want to hear from you guys, so feel free to leave your top 10 video games for the PS2 as well. And as always, don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.